So it's finally happened. The Wave 2 of the Pendulum Color has finally been announced, and I'm super excited. So I had a feeling it would be announced sometime around now. The Digivice pre-orders ended on April 22nd, so I knew from there, like any time, we could have seen an announcement. In the past few days, they've been releasing Mon memos for the first wave with just some general information, and they even released official evolution guides. Interestingly, the evolution guides don't seem to line up 100% with what data miners have found, so I thought that was a little bit strange. But in the last Mon memo, they hinted that there would be more information about the Wave 2s coming today. And so, yeah, we just got some news about those Pendulum colors. So it's the version 4, 5, and 0. So version 4 is Wind Guardians, version 5 is Metal Empire, and 0 is Virus Busters. The colors they chose, I'm actually really happy with. So with Wind Guardians, they went with green and brown. I think the other option was green and yellow, but the green and brown I think looks a little bit better. The Metal Empire is black and red, which I think is really awesome. The other one was black and gold. I think the red looks a little bit better. I actually have a version 5 Pendulum that is black and red, so I'm a little bit biased towards that color. And then I don't know if they released more than one color of the Virus Busters. Overall, like, the Virus Busters is probably my least favorite of the Pendulums, so just in general, I think I'm just a little bit less excited about this one than I was the first time around. But part of that is just because we already know what these devices are going to offer, because they're going to be mostly in line with what the first wave was, but I'm still very excited nonetheless. So all the features are pretty much the same. They don't seem to have too much new, like color screen, obviously, USB-C charging, awesome. The color sprites that they have shown off look really great, so I'm super happy about that. They've done a really good job with both the Digimon Color and the Pendulum Color, just creating like really, really awesome color sprites. We know now what the unlockable extra Digimon are going to be on these devices. So on Wind Guardians, the extra is going to be Terramon. That seems like a no-brainer to me. At the time when I made my predictions for what the Wave 2 rosters were going to be, we didn't know who Terramon was yet, and we didn't know his evolution line. But you know, obviously it's a no-brainer, especially with Liberator coming out now. It ties in perfectly. I'm actually a really huge fan of Terramon and his evolutions too, so I'm really happy about that. On Metal Empire, I wasn't sure. I had actually initially thought they were going to use Commandramon in his evolution line when I made my predictions, and then when Liberator came out, I was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe they'll use Shumon instead, but they did go with Commandramon. We don't know which evolution line they're going to use yet. I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. And then Gammamon. I will say Gammamon's sprite looks a little bit awkward to me. Same with Terramon. Obviously, we're only seeing like one frame of its sprite. They do look a little bit awkward. I know some of these designs are a little bit difficult to translate into 16x16 sprites. And then we have a brand new Digimon. This one is called Kernumon. It's a jogress, just like we had with Tlalokmon on the Nature Spirits, and it's between Puppetmon and Hydramon. So that also confirms that Hydramon is going to be on this device. We did not know that before, and this actually looks really solid. I'm not a huge fan of the giant trumpet antlers, but otherwise I think this is like a really cool Digimon, especially like the pattern on its mane. It kind of looks a little bit like a creature from Princess Mononoke or something. I haven't actually seen that movie, but just based on the screenshots of it I've seen before. And the sprite looks really solid too, which usually with these like super complex designs, you don't get that. And then they show off what the jogresses are going to be on this device. So we have Mitamamon. We already knew that because Mitamamon is on the Deep Sabers. They show Omegamon and Mastemon, and then two unknowns. So Omegamon we already knew because it was on the original Virus Busters. And then Mastemon was kind of an interesting choice because we already have Mastemon on the first wave, but I think because Andrewamon is going to be on the Pendulum 0 again, they figured why not just include it as a jogress. And then the two question marks, I have a pretty solid theory of who they're going to be. The first one there is Chaosdramon. That's the exact same sprite they used on the Digital Monster color. And the second one, I'm pretty sure is Proximamon. Keep in mind, the Virus Busters Pendulum has extra slots that need to be filled in because it never had a 0.5 version. Since Gammamon's on that device, I have a feeling they're going to be using both its like good evolution route to Siriusmon and then its like evil one to Arcturusmon. So it would make sense that they would jogress together, and then that last sprite would be Proximamon, which I think would be really awesome. I love Proximamon. And interestingly enough, that would mean the Pendulum Zero has 2 on-device jogresses with Omegamon and Proximamon, and a cross-device jogress with Nightmare Soldiers for Mostemon. That actually gives it 1 extra Digimon than all the rest of the Pendulum colors. It has 33, whereas everyone else has 32. I didn't think they would do that when I made my predictions on what was going to be on the Virus Busters Pendulum. I didn't guess that Guluskemon was going to be on there, and my biggest reason was because I didn't think they would use a second on-device jogress slot for Proximamon. But it looks like they just went ahead and did it anyway, which is, I think, really cool. And because we know how many Digimon are going to be on each device, one of the biggest issues presented with the Wind Guardians Pendulum specifically is that its 0.5 version added an extra child level. It replaced Floramon with Palmon. It's the only Pendulum that did that. So I was wondering if they were going to just like add an extra child level on every device, or how they were going to do that. We don't know for sure yet, but it looks like they're keeping the extra child level, and then the Wind Guardians is just going to have one less like champion than the rest, which is fine. It's just a little bit weird that it's going to have extra. They show off some more features. The training looks like it's going to be the same, where you just shake till the color matches, and evolution times are the same. It still has cold mode and backup. They talk about how you can connect with other devices to unlock backgrounds, which of course is how it worked on all the other color devices. But they specifically point out connecting to the color Digivices. So I don't know if that means you'll be able to unlock a background from the Digivice. That would be really cool if that's the case. We still don't know what the new ultimates are going to be on these devices. They haven't announced that yet. I'm assuming we're going to get Mon memos in the coming weeks that'll show off the whole roster, just like they did with the first wave. I am a little bit disappointed that it looks like they're going with Chaosdramon again on Metal Empire as a jogress. We just got it on the digital monster color. I would have liked to see something different. That also says to me that Darkdramon is probably going to be on the Metal Empire Pendulum, because on the digital monster color, Darkdramon and Machinedramon digivolved into Chaosdramon. I don't necessarily think that means that they're going to be using Commandramon's Darkdramon line. I think they're still going to use the new Seekers line that goes to Brigadramon, and then Darkdramon will probably just evolve from Megadramon, because Megadramon is on the Metal Empire Pendulum, and I think they're just going to have it evolve to Darkdramon again, like they did on the digital monster. There are a few Digimon that we do know are going to be on these devices. A while ago, they released a poll asking us what our favorite Pendulum group was, and they did tease some of the extra ultimates in there. So we know High Andromon is going to be on the Metal Empire, which is disappointing because he was just on the digital monster color. I wish they went with something a little more interesting. And we know that Refleximon is going to be on Wind Guardians. I had initially thought they were going to use Refleximon as a jogress of Lotusmon and Rosemon like they did on the version 20th. That's not the case because Kernumon is taking that jogress slot. So I guess Refleximon's just going to be a regular ultimate, probably from Blossomon, if I had to guess. And we already knew Siriusmon was going to be on Virus Busters because they teased that as well. I do hope they mix up the roster on Virus Busters just a little bit, just because there are so many repeats on there. Like Greymon and Metal Greymon are on Metal Empire. War Greymon, Metal Garurumon are also on Metal Empire. I wouldn't be surprised if they change up Metal Empire a little bit. They specifically teased Metal Garurumon and War Greymon as Pendulum Zero Digimon, but I'm wondering if they're going to do something like maybe use Victory Greymon and Zed Garurumon on Metal Empire. I hope they do something, just because there are so many repeats. Like with all these premium Bandai devices, they will sell out. It's unlikely to get an English release. We haven't gotten the third wave of the Digital Monster X. We haven't gotten Pendulum Z's. We haven't gotten Digital Monster Colors. The best we'll get is probably a release on Premium Bandai US, which if you're outside of the US, you can't order from anyway. So make sure you get your order in somehow if you want one. And one last bit of news I want to touch on before I close out this video is Digimon Liberator. So they had a big live stream about Digimon Liberator the other day, and they released some new details. Most of it is card game related. I'm not super into the card game. I don't play it. I occasionally collect, but I haven't in a while, but they showed off some new products, mostly cards. They have a cool new deck box that looks like it's going to be featured in the comic itself. The first episode is out if you want to read it. I haven't read it yet. I'm not sure if I'm just going to like hold off until it's done and then read through it all at once, but I will read it eventually. It actually does look really cool. I like they're using some more underutilized Digimon as partners. We also know now too that it is on other sites other than Digimon. The Digimon site was having issues as everyone was trying to read it. The site was really slow and crashing and stuff, but it is not only on the website, but it's also on Webtoon and a service called Global Comics, which I've never heard of. So if you want to read it, that's where you can read it. But they announced a new character for the novel with a partner who's a fan Bimon, which is really cool. I know fan Bimon has a lot of fans. And most importantly to me, they showed off Impmon's new evolution line. So when they announced that Impmon would be the partner for the main character of the novel at Digimon Con, they also hinted at that it won't evolve into Beelzebumon, and so everyone was thinking that it would evolve into Beelstarmon instead, but they actually showed off a brand new evolution line with all new Digimon. So all these are unnamed as of now. As you can see, they clearly are inspired by Gilmon's evolutions. You can see like the champion is Growlmon, the ultimate is War Growlmon, and the mega is Megidramon. Which I think that Megidramon is super awesome. The wings are like, you know, heavy metal guitars. And that Growlmon too, I think is super awesome. Like they gave Growlmon brass knuckles and a leather jacket. Like that's so cool. I'm not a super huge fan of the purple and green color scheme. I think it can work sometimes, but maybe it's just the shade of green they used. It looks a little bit gross to me, but otherwise I think like the designs themselves are really cool. I like how they all keep Impmon's scarf. This almost makes me think of this is like a bad evolution route, and then he's gonna get like a proper evolution route into something different. I wonder if like Megidramon is like the bad mega, and then it's gonna evolve into like Chaos Dukemon. Maybe Chaos Dukemon is gonna get its own Crimson Move equivalent. It's far too early to say. Again, we don't even know the names of these. I don't think the novel has started releasing yet, but I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to wrap up the video here. This is my first time doing one of these news style videos, so sorry if it's a little bit unorganized. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this sort of thing. Let me know what you think. Are you excited about the new Pendulum colors? Which version are you getting if you are getting one? And what are your thoughts on Impmon's new evolutions? They're very weird for sure, but they're quickly growing on me. That's about it. I will see you guys next time.